Peace family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how you see people for who they are within. You see people for who they are within. A lot of beings and people out here are walking around with these masks, these misconceptions, these false images that they're putting out here. And then the ones who aren't putting out false images, they're putting out only bits and pieces that they want you to see. The difference with us over here on this side is we see the actual being who they are. We see you in there. I was giving somebody an example recently about how, we see people for who they are within, and I used an example of just like a chair. You push somebody over like a gaming chair or like an office chair, you only see the outside of it. You don't think about the material that's inside the chair that makes the chair soft for you to sit in. You just see the outside, you're like, that looks like a soft chair. We keep it at surface level. But when we deal with people out here in real life time, I realized for me, a lot of people shied away, was intimidated, scared, fearful of me. When I say a lot, I'm just meaning on a percentage scale, not saying like everybody come across me, I'm this big bad scary guy, blah blah blah, none of that. What I'm saying is, if I dealt with 100% people, about 30 to 45% would have those kind of emotions to express towards me. And I've had certain people come out their mouth and tell me out loud that, I scare them or I can be intimidating. And I realized that's for all of us. And most recently, what I've been doing, when people start bringing this up or addressing it or saying these things, I always respond back with the statement, it's because I see you in there. I communicate with the being that's in there. We communicate with the being that's in there. That's why we get thrown off when we have to deal with the opposition who does wear masks and do all these other little weird witchy spells to kind of hide who they are. It don't matter what kind of designer clothes you put on, how many waist trainers you put on, how much jewelry you put on. We can still see you for you. It doesn't matter how much muscle you put on. We can still see you for you inside of there. And that what scares a lot of people. And it only scares people in today's societies because we're used to being able to give whatever image that we want to give. Because a lot of people don't tap in to within. So if they're not tapped into their own being within, then they're going to have a hard time tapping into the being of somebody else's that there. They're basically on the other side, they perceive what we give. They read about 20% to 30% in between the lines, and they only do that because they got to figure out how to manipulate us and do these other tactics. But you've always engaged with the being in the inside. That's what makes it so beautiful. That's what makes it so natural. That's what makes it so organic. That's also what puts us in a lot of compromising situations. Because we see how the opposition works out here. Healthy being right here. Here's the vessel. Healthy being, vessel. Then all of a sudden, you got this other spirit entity just like, you know what? That vessel don't seem too strong. That spirit don't seem too strong. Let me get on in here with them. If you ever tried to put two people into one pair of pants, it's extremely annoying. Back in the day, you could do it easily because we wore bigger clothes. Doing it today's day and age, good luck trying to get two people in one pair of pants. Meaning one leg. I'm not talking about both people get two legs and two legs. Just one leg. It still will be extremely difficult. This is where the beauty and the ugly resides at. We got a lot of wind still. We've been having so many wind advisories. That's why the filming has been back and forth, inside, outside. I just seen the camera blowing. That's why I had to grab it, and it just caught me for a second. But that's the beauty and the ugly in it. The beauty is that you get to see people for who they really are, I've come across plenty of males and females that portrayed themselves to kind of be bigger than what they are. So what I mean by bigger is guys in the spiritual realm will put on a lot of jackets to make it seem like they're bigger, but they remove all the jackets and they're just this scrawny little guy. You know, in the spiritual realm, I see women, they put a lot of waist trainers on and like different things to kind of hide and mask certain things, right? But in the spiritual realm, I see who you are. Some of these beings on this other side, because I got to get in the habit of stop saying all. Some and most on the other side don't want to look at themselves. So when they don't want to look at themselves, they got the other entity that just comes in and take charge and gives them this false sense of security and strength and quote unquote courage for them to kind of maneuver throughout life. This is where we hurt ourselves at, is because we see the being that's in there, but we done already got emotionally invested, and now this other entity is presenting itself as if they're the driver. This isn't no student ed car, but when you in some of these people vessels, they got 2 steering wheels. Some of these beings out here has 2 steering wheels. Us over here with the creator, we got 1 steering wheel. Creator, like, I trust you. This is yours, you drive. If we crash, but I put you in charge, you're driving. The other team isn't operating that way, and this is how we also hurt ourselves, because we see that insecure, or even if they're not insecure, they're not strongest person within there. I done been around beings and was able to see them in such a extent of depth that I almost envisioned them as this little infant in a fetal position that was just kind of like scared out their mind. And that caused me to be more mindful about how I am engaging with them. You have to be aware of these things that's happening. When we aren't aware of these things that's happening, this is how we fall into these traps. Anytime there's 2 steering wheels in a car, the instructor is always the main driver. So that means that in their vehicles, they're the first driver, and the other entity, the opposition, is the instructor. So anytime that the regular driver gets ready to do something that the instructor is not like in agreement to, the instructor can always correct the steering wheel. It can always brake or gas. I'm pretty sure it might just be gas on the passenger side. I didn't have to learn how to drive that way. I just learned how to drive regular, taking my mom's car and teaching myself. No instructor besides me and the creator. That's all we had over there at the time, But understanding these things, how it comes in such a beautiful form and then such an ugly form when you are not aware. And even if you are aware, you'll still get bits and pieces of the ugly form, because that is just how that playbook operates. But the beauty in it, which I love, is that it removes a lot of the weird friction and chaos, because when I'm engaging with people and they're trying to give me one perception, since I can see who they are on the inside, I can see them, it allows me to be able to come up with the right words and dialogue when I'm communicating and engaging with these beings. You also got to remember that when we communicate with people out here, it's not a lot of people out here that process the way we do in here and in here. And it's not a lot of people that's connected with source the way we are. So, with that being said, it's not too many that's on our frequency or vibration. So when we are engaging with people, they're kind of in a scarcity mind, and they're also in an awe, because for one, they're not used to people seeing who they are. So they kind of like it, but then they're kind of afraid of it, because we're kind of invading their space because they want to be hidden. Us, we don't care for being hidden, so you get to communicate with the real being in here. The real being is going to reflect how they are feeling and expressing themselves outwardly. You and all of us have been able to engage with people of all walks of life because we understood how to see the being within and engage with that being. We don't engage with the false perceptions or the false pretenses or these weird paintings that they done drawn up and put together that doesn't coincide with the actual being and the vibration that's carrying behind the words. It has always allowed me to be able to engage with people on such a deeper level, being able to communicate and engage with them. The ones that I haven't been able to, is because they're doing a whole lot of running and hiding. I can see them, I engage with them, but then they run behind another door. They put up another wall. You know what I mean? Here comes another excuse. It's something else that comes spilling out. But we got to understand these things in order for us to continue to level up and to move around in today's society in this process out here. You know, because people will tell us anything, but we are that collective, those group of beings that my word is my bond. So if I'm putting my word on it, best believe I'm going to do everything in my power to stand on it. As most of us, you know, we engage with the beings. We expect those people to see us within and engage with us, but then that's where we have our conflict at, is that they only see the vessel. Which is why we get treated like a piece of meat, which is why you only get used and extorted for your energy and for your resources. They don't see the being that's driving. It's kind of like you sitting in a Lamborghini car and they don't even notice you in there. You're driving it. You're the reason why that car is even on their street. They would have never saw a Lamborghini on their street. They come over there in awe of the car. Oh, look at the color. Look at the lights. Is the trunk in the front or the back? Like, look at they're doing everything else besides acknowledging the being who made this car possible to even be here on the same street that these other beings are on. It's really simple for us, but it can become complex if you aren't aware that you are actually doing these things and that you can do these things. And these are some of the tactics that they use when you are seeing them. Because the other beings that know that you see them and they aren't with you, they're going to be so appreciative, because most of us aren't used to getting acknowledged as the beings that we are within. Most of us do not get acknowledged for the beings that we are within. We get acknowledged by the material items and what we look like on the outside, and how you choose to use the matrix words generically, like how everybody else does. I'm blowing out here today. My locks is heavy, so anytime my locks is blowing, I know the wind is too hard. This is like the universe telling me, like, all right. I get signs and stuff. You know, some people go, let me see which way the wind blowing. Nope. I just watch my hair flow. Which way is you going? If you can blow these heavy locks, you are pretty strong. I know that's a little sidetrack, but I had to grab the camera again. This for me, always trying to make sure I'm constantly outside with it, but I have to deal with these obstacles as well too. So I just try to be mindful of these things at all times, you know. But don't be afraid, don't shy away, don't get mad, don't be like feeling down on yourself if people are running away from you because you see who they are. You start communicating and engaging with them as the being they are with inside, opposed from just communicating with them on surface levels and what they're presenting to you, you know. But I ain't want to run it up too long. You see the beings inside these vessels. You know the beauty, love, and light that they could possibly bring to this universe. But don't let it be at the detriment because it's another occupant, you know, taking over that space, and now they're doing all this self-sabotaging and sabotaging others outside. You know what I mean? Tapping everything in the description down below as always. You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody reaching out on IG, everybody that I've been communicating with, everybody that's been tapping in the community. Y'all lit down low. I ain't gonna lie, y'all lit. Y'all be sending so much love and light. I be having my roller coaster days, and you know, the notification just pop up on the top of my phone. I'm like, damn, that got me right here. I needed that love and light, you know what I mean? I'm fighting real battles out here in real lifetime. But tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.